Hey guys, and welcome back. In today's video, we'll be discussing another popular SQL problem. So let's get right into it. So we have three tables: the students table, the subjects table, and the examinations table. So let's go through the table schemas one by one. Now the students table, we we have two columns: the student ID, which is of type integer, and the student name, which is of type varchar. Student ID is the primary key, meaning column with unique values for this table. Each row of this table contains the ID and the name of one student in the school. Now, the next table, subjects. The subjects table, we have one column, which is a subject name, which is of type varchar. Now, subject name is the primary key, meaning column with unique values for this table. Each row of this table contains the name of one subject in the school. Then we have examinations. Now, if you look at the schema, examination contains two columns: student ID, which is of type integer, subject name, which is of type varchar. There is no primary key, meaning column with unique values for this table. It may contain duplicates. So meaning uh, uh, we so here will probably contain the foreign keys. That makes sense. Each student from students table takes every course from the subjects table. Each of this table indicates that a student with student ID attended the exam of the subject name. Now we are asked to write a solution to find the number of times each student attended each exam. Return the result table ordered by student ID and subject name. The result format is in the following example. Now let's take a look at the input tables. So this is our students table. So we can see we have the student's ID along with the name of the respective student associated with the ID. Next we have the subjects table, the subjects which are taught in the school. Now we have the examinations table. So this shows that which exams, for which all subjects the students have wrote or attended the exam, right? So now let us look at the output table. In the output table, we can see that we have four columns: the student ID, the student name, the subject name, and the attended exams. Now we can see that if we notice this table closely, here we are displaying, so each student has to write each and every examination, like according to the rules, right? So that's the reason why we can see that there is a mapping of all the three subjects with every student, and we're giving the count as to how many times they've attended their exam. But some students are present who have not attended that particular subject at all, and that's why we have displayed them as zero. I hope that makes sense. So I hope that you have understood the problem statement. Now let's go ahead and construct our SQL query. Yeah. So before I go ahead and continue with the problem, I want to discuss a relatively, less common, but a concept that can be asked in the interviews, and that's exactly what I'm going to use here, which is the cross join. Now, if you've noticed the previous problem, here we can see that we have three different tables, right? We have the students table, we have the subjects table, and we have the examinations table. Hey, so we need to find a way to create a mapping where each and every student is mapped to every subject. So we need to have, so per student, there needs to be three entries. There has to be three entries per student. So for example, if we take Alice, so there should be Alice mathematics, Alice physics, and Alice programming. Similarly, every student, we need to create this kind of a mapping. So to create that map, we will use a cross join. So if you take a look on your screens here, we have two tables here. These are just sample tables just for our understanding. We can see we have a table car model with three entries: Camry, Corolla, Prius. And then we have color name: black, red, silver. When we perform a cross join, right, we can you see how the output is being displayed? We have Camry black, Corolla black, Prius black. Similarly, we have Camry red, Corolla red, and Prius red. Then again we have Camry silver, Corolla silver, and Prius silver. Can you see how for each and every car model we have mapped it to each and every color? So that's exactly what the cross join does. And this is the concept that we'll be implementing in this very problem to solve this question. I'm just giving a very brief here, like of course, because this particular playlist only focuses on, you know, solving the SQL problem. So provided that you do know the concepts, Like you need to know at least 50, 70 to 80% of the concepts thoroughly. These things you can pick it up on the way. Like you don't have to know this from the beginning. So let's go ahead and continue. Yeah, okay, so I hope that you've understood what the problem statement is about. So let's go ahead and start considering the query. Now I'm going to divide this query into multiple parts. So we have discussed cross joins. Now our first step, hey, is to create a mapping between the students and the subjects table. Hey, because each and every student, before attending the exam, each and every student is assumed that they will attend all the examinations. So you have to create a mapping where each and every student ID is mapped to every subject. So what I can do is I'll put it within a common table expression and I'll select a dot asterisk comma b dot asterisk from students students as a cross join subjects as b. So here the reason why I put a dot asterisk and b dot asterisk is because I want all the records from the first table and I want all the records from the second table. And another thing to notice about cross joins here is that we don't really need to use a primary foreign key relationship because we are mapping each and every record to each other. So let's just check out our result. Just give it a sec. Hey, all right. Hey, so as you can see, a mapping has been created between the students table and the subjects table. So Alice math, Alice physics, Alice programming. Similarly, Bob math, Bob physics, Bob programming. So this is the first step. Now, in the second step, what we want to do is we okay. Hey, so we want to create a new column, hey, which will tell us that which are the subjects that the students have appeared for. So we have a table called the examinations table here. So we need to create a table in such a way that a new column has been created and that column will specify that okay, this student has attended this examination. This student has not attended this examination. So that's going to be a second step. I will create another CTE. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select a dot student ID, a dot student ID, comma a dot student name, a dot subject name, comma b dot subject name as exams appeared from CTE as a left outer join. Hey, so we're going to take the examinations table into account because examinations table gives us those records where where it shows that this student has attended this examination for that subject. I hope that makes sense. So examinations as B on a dot student ID equals b dot student ID and a dot subject name equals b dot subject name. Hey, the reason why we need two the reason why we need two keys here is because we want to we need a student ID and the subject name for a unique mapping, right? Hey, that way we'll get to know key. Okay, this student has attended this subject or not. So let's just run our query CT2. Hey, all right. Hey, so if you look at the output, so here Alice has attended math. Alice has again attended math. So this is the mapping that I want. Now, if you look at Alex, Alex has for exams appeared, it comes null because this student ID and subject name math, this entry is not present in the examinations table. So hence we can say that Alex did not attend the math examination. So this is the kind of mapping that we want. Hey, and now my final step is gonna. Hey, my final step. Okay. Hey, so my final step is to do a group by. Hey, where I want to where I want to count. I want the count of how many times that student has attended that examination, right? Okay, so for that, what I'm going to do is, okay, I'm going to create another table. Okay, okay, so I'm going to create another table where I use a case when, and then I use a case when I create a new table which will tell if the student is attended the examination, I'll mark that as one, and if it's null, it'll be zero. So it'll go something like this: select star comma case when exam sorry when subject name equals exam appeared, then one, else zero, end as exam attended exams from CTE 2. So let's look at a result. This is a column 0 does not exist. Oh, my apologies. Hey, hey, all right. So we can see that we have got this mapping here. I know, I know this format looks really tedious, but that's just how the LeetCode interface is. So if you look here, we have attended exams, and this is the encoding 1, 1, 1, and then we have 0 for places where it's null. Now our final step is to do a group by. So in the output table, we needed the student ID. So select student ID, comma student name, comma subject name, comma exams, sum of exams appeared as attended exams from CTE3. Now I'll do a group by student ID, student ID, comma student name, comma subject name, and this should give me. And if I run the query, this should give me the correct result. I'm so sorry. Just a second. Oh, my bad. It's attended exams. Yeah, now it should be fine. Voila. Okay, so we have got the correct output. So this is our output and this is the expected output. So I hope that you've enjoyed the video and I'll see you again in the next one. Bye bye.